All right, folks, welcome to Duty's Daggers. And we're doing a bit of a year-end wrap-up sort of thing. Um, you know, Many channels do a kind of best knife of the year video at the end of the year. Maybe they have a certain category they're going for, certain, whatever, best budget knife, best premium knife. And, I've been thinking about how I'm going to do this for the last couple weeks. And I think I'm going to do just a couple different categories, but it's hard because I haven't gotten to handle every new knife that came out this year, obviously. I don't think anybody has. Some have handled a lot more than I have. But, so all I can do is really just go off of the things that I have gotten a chance to handle. And I have a few of them here that I ended up buying. Um, Now, I'm going to mention a couple knives that I did handle, but they were loaners. Didn't get a chance to buy them, but if I did, they would be on here. Um, so the knives you see in front of you here are my favorite knives that came out this year that I, you know, liked and bought. I could be missing some, but I was just looking through my case, and this is it. This is what I came up with. All these knives are fantastic, but I like some more than others. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, there will be another video coming up on budget knives, and then another video on slip joints. Kind of wrap up, end of the year videos on those categories also. But this is premium knives over $100 is what I kind of consider. Under $100 is a budget, over $100 is premium, and then I don't know, over 450 is like, top of the line, I guess you would say. So, starting right here, Microtech Stitch Ramlock. This came out this year, obviously. I'm not going to keep saying that, but everyone was really excited about these. This came out in conjunction with the MSI, their Microtech standard issue knife with the same locking mechanism, and they were very hard to get for a while. But only recently, in the last maybe month, they've been getting a little easier to get. They still sell out very quickly. I don't think you can find them sitting online anywhere, as far as I know. So very popular. I handled the MSI and did not like it. It was very big and bulky, and the action was very mushy. There was some bad hot spots, and just really didn't like it. But the Stitch, I thought I would try because people said the action was a little better than the MSI, and I just liked the look of it better than the MSI. So I decided to buy one. This was $300. This is the fluted G10, and then we have the two-tone blade with the satin flats and then dark stonewash on the bevels and the swedge. It looks very, very nice. It looks just absolutely badass. Really, really just super wicked. I mean, I've long drooled over the Borka custom stitches, and this is probably the closest I'll ever come to owning one of those. And it is super, super cool. It is kind of mushy, the action, but I can get a pretty decent reverse flick and thumb flick out of it. Whereas the MSI, I was having trouble even getting it to reverse flick at all. And maybe I could have with some practice, but you shouldn't need to practice to get a knife to flick. It should just pop out. It should just pop open. So, but yeah, the action is still a little, disappointing on this one. It does make a really nice loud sound when it closes and hits the stop pin. I really like that. The ergos are really good, except for this point right here. That creates a bit of a hot spot. I love the full length backspacer. I love the stonewash over all the hardware. Really huge hardware. This is, I think, a T20. Yeah, T20. It's just cool. It's really tough. There's a coil spring instead of an Omega spring. Now, the clip not only is a hot spot, but these screws are a bit of a problem. If you're wearing thick seams, it can get caught on those big screws underneath there. So I wish they had inset that. Well, it is inset, but they didn't use, they didn't inset the screws as well. That would have been nice. Um, so my only complaints were, the clip action's a bit mushy, but aside from that, it cut surprisingly well. I was impressed at how well it sliced, how it felt with utility cutting, and overall just cut better than I thought it would. Next, let's talk about the Quiet Carry 9. This is one that as soon as I got it, well, actually, it was lent to me in a pass around a while before I actually bought my own. But even in that time that I had it lent to me, I knew that it was probably going to be in the top 5 knives of the year. It's a very, very good design, and it's executed so, so well. When I finally was able to get my own, it just confirmed everything that I already thought when I started carrying it and, spending time with it. It's just it's so good. Some of the best thumb stud action I've ever felt, period. The detent is just so perfect. You just barely break it and the blade pops out. It's just so good. It makes great sounds. It's satisfying. The lock bar access is incredibly nice. So smooth and drop shut. It's just amazing. The ergos are fantastic. One of my favorite clips ever. It's it curves around and goes back behind the scale there, so it's completely flat underneath, completely flush on the butt here, and it just works incredibly well. It looks so good. One of my favorite clips of all time. This milling here this texture is fantastic. The inlay is amazing. There's no hardware visible at all on the show side. I love how the lock bar kind of just curves over like that. It just looks kind of cool and weird. MagnaCut blade steel is done really well. This thing held an edge like crazy. The sharpening choil is really nice. The blade stock is thin. It's a slicey blade. More belly than I typically go for, but you can still do utility cutting with it, and it's just so incredibly made. There's just something about it that feels different than other knives. It's something about it. I can't quite put my finger on it. It's a combination of things. The finish on the titanium is it's a little more bright and shiny than some other titanium that I've seen. I don't know, man. The 9 is just something special. The Sharp by Design Mini Evo came out this year, right? This was one I was really excited for because I'm a big Sharp by Design Brian Nadeau fan. I was lucky enough to get sent some prototypes, or I don't think they were prototypes, but sent to some of these before they actually dropped, and it was a big deal for me because it was the first time that a maker had really trusted me with some of their knives, but trusted me with sending some of their knives, and it was really cool because it was just happened to be one of my favorite designers, and I was blown away when I felt the detent on these things. Definitely the absolute crispiest action I had ever felt on a flipper tab, without doubt. It's so crispy that you can hear the breakaway. It's a little click. It's a double click if you can hear it. There's 2 clicks. One is it breaking the detent, listen. And the other is it locking up. It has Brian Nadeau's nub detent, meaning there's no, when you disengage, it's just free swinging all the way down. There's not a secondary little spot where it catches and needs to get up on the detent needs to get up onto the tang. It's just always up on there because the detent nub is right at the very top of the insert. So, oops, wrong knife. It feels so good, and usually I'm not a flipper only guy. It takes a really special knife for me to be okay with a dedicated flipper, and this does it. Not only is the action amazing, but this is, I think, one of the most perfect knife designs It is an absolutely perfect knife, I think. It has really classic knife lines in it, but with a little twist and a little flair of something else. The flipper tab, I think, looks incredible. The way that it kind of dips down and then flows into the sharpening choil. Um, and then, when it's closed, this looks like it might be pointy and hurt your finger, but really your finger goes right above that. This beautiful drop point blade, it's thin behind the edge. The way that the cutout turns right into the fuller here. Just really nice, crisp lines. It's actually stonewashed inside the fuller. The lack of billboarding, just a BN right there. That's all you need. The clip works really well. Sometimes if you have a thick seam, you have to kind of angle it differently to get it in, but it goes in. You just have to angle it different. I love how the clip is inset in there with just one screw. It's completely solid. Just the construction of this thing is incredible. I mean, look at this area right in here. With the lanyard pin right there. It's just so amazing. The clearances are so tight. I mean, look at this thing. It's just done so well. I think it's a perfect knife. I really do. Ergos are fantastic. This is a very classy, very just good design. Next, Bergblades Sweeney. This one came later in the game. I picked this up at the California Custom Knife Show, and I had handled one of my friends a week or two earlier or prior to that, and I liked it, but I didn't really realize how much I would like it until I got to the show and handled it. This is such a good design, and the way that it's put together and built with the really dark, coarse stonewash over everything, and the micarta is incredible. I'm a sucker for titanium and micarta. As you can see here, I love it. I think it's such a good look, and this micarta is such good quality. You can see that it's darkened quite a bit. It's still kind of light there underneath the clip, but it's darkened up quite a bit from use, and just the finish on this knife is incredible. It really is incredible. Look at that. Just freaking look at that. Minimal billboarding, just the logo right there. That is it. This is in 20 CV. The clip is really, really good. Not completely deep carry, but it's pretty close. About that much sticking out. And the way the clip just flows with the lines of the knife is really, really nice. This angle right here is the same as that angle there. It just, man, that clip fits perfectly on there. It's kind of a slimmer blade. It almost reminds me of a Sebenza blade shape a little bit. Just a kind of more of a slender, sleek drop point. With this nice swedge on it. Nice sharpening choil. The ergos are amazing. You can hold it back here with your pointer finger in this groove. Or if you want to choke up, there's this really nice flat spot with extremely rounded edges. Very, very rounded. So this choke up spot is very comfortable. I don't know if I've seen a flat spot, choke up spot done better than this. It's just so comfortable. Lock bar access is really nice, and the action, oh my god. It has this kind of front flipper / top flipper that it's my favorite front or top flipper I've ever tried. It's just so good. You don't have to think about it. You put your thumb up there and you pull back. It is so simple. It takes very minimal effort, but it also feels crispy at the same time. Oh, it's good. So good. You can do over the top too. The reverse flick, really nice and crispy. Thumb flick even. A little more difficult to get to, but you can. Oh, the Bergblades Sweeney. I love it. I really love it. Really, really love it. The Precision Knife Works Warant TAC. This one surprised me a bit too. There was a whole thing where a viewer lent me one with one of his custom hollow grinds done on it, and the bevel was all wonky and weird. So I put out a video showing that, and then the guy reached out to me and said, or the owner of Precision Knife Works, I'm forgetting his name right now. I'm sorry, man, I've totally blanked. But he reached out to me and said, he's really improved his grinding since then, and he wants to replace the knife. So he replaced the viewer's knife that I had been borrowing, sent him a brand new one, and he also sent me this one so that I could do a cut test and kind of experience the knife. And I'm so glad he did, because I'm not sure if I would have otherwise, bought one, just because I wasn't sure about it. But now that I've handled it and cut with it, this thing is badass, dude. It's got a very nice, crisp detent. Really nice. Excellent reverse flicking action. It's not really a thumb flicker at all. It's just not. It's a reverse flicker, and boy, is it a good one. It's got this kind of half moon, arc here on the back of the knife and the spine, and very, very straight bottom lines, I guess you'd say. The handle's just really comfortable. Not really any defined areas. You can kind of just put your hand wherever, and it's comfortable anywhere. The clip is very just minimal, works well. The lock bar relief cutout is on the inside, so the front here is just completely clean. Love these lines milled in. Love just the blank pivot. It's a nice hollow grind. It is thin behind the edge. I had to fix the sharpening choil just a little bit. It was okay. I just made it a little bit bigger, and that was really the only issue. Lock bar axis is great. It's a great cutter. Yeah, I really like it. The Warant TAC. This thing is great. He has a few left. I think he only has by now it's probably only 15 or so left. And he actually gave me a code for $15 off if you guys want to get one of these before they're gone. You can use my code DutiesDaggers, all one word. And lastly, the Kunwu Knives Padre, baby. Look at this. This one was another one that was lent to me by a friend. I hadn't had a chance to handle it before that. And as soon as he lent it to me and I did a cut test with it, I carried it for a couple days, I knew I needed one. But I had missed out on the drop. So I was in despair. I had accepted my fate that I would never own a Padre. But they came back. They came back. There was more. And there is going to be still more at the end of this month in December. So if you guys want one, you will have another chance. Thank God. This is such a good knife. The ergos are fantastic. The way that it grips in your hand really feels like so locked in and secure. The way the handle kind of comes down this way, it just locks you in, man. Choked up or choked back. Really unique design. It's actually kind of similar to the Stitch in a way. The handles both kind of curl down. Blade shapes are a bit different, but both have big choke up areas there. So definitely reminiscent of each other. But the Padre is absolutely a better cutter than the Stitch. This thing cuts so well. If you want to watch my cut test video, do that. It's in a play. All my cut test videos are in a playlist, but if you want to be quick about it, just Duties Daggers Padre cut test. It'll come right up. The action is so good. It's got this front flipper kind of thing that's angled back a bit. Not as much as the Sweeney is, but still angled back a little bit more than a lot of front flippers we see. Same thing as the Sweeney, man. It's just so easy to get it. Almost takes no thought. Just put your thumb up there and bang! It fires out so nicely. The reverse flick is very good. This thing makes great sounds too. It's not quiet. It makes nice, loud, clunky, metallic sounds. You even get a Timascus pivot collar, which is a great touch. Fully stonewashed. Man, I really like this thing. It's a pleasure to cut with. It really is. It has continuous belly, so there's no flats anywhere, but it still has a low tip. I mean, if you look at down the center of the handle, that tip is very, very low, meaning you can do really nice reverse or utility cutting, but also, you're like in a food prep style, you could rock back on that belly really nicely. You know, cutting rope down on a surface, whatever you're doing, this thing does so well. Van X blade steel, this thing has held an edge very nicely too. Yeah, I love the Padre. So those are the knives that I think could be the knife of the year in the premium category. I'm going to remove the Stitch, just because the amount of things that I don't really like about it are more than any of these other knives. While I do really like it, the mushy action, the hot spot on the clip, and the screws poking out make it to where it cannot be knife of the year. So that's coming off the list. I'm also going to remove the Warant TAC. It's a great knife, but it's not quite up to the level of these four as far as just quality of the design. And I did have to fix the sharpening choil. It is a great knife. It has some great things going for it. But these four just, they connect to me a little bit more than the Warant TAC does. Now we're getting to something where it becomes very difficult for me. I might have a top 2 or 3. I don't know. Which one do I take away at this point? Let's think about it this way. Because, you know, utility is important to me as well, not just looks and, you know, smoothness of action. I want them to be good cutters. It has to be a good cutter to get knife of the year. Which is the best cutter on the table? It's not the Sweeney. Well, it is a very good cutter. It's the blade stock is not thick, but it's thicker than some of these other knives. It is a full flat grind, but it doesn't come down to a crazy thin measurement behind the edge. It is thin, but not as thin as these others. So it hurts me to take this off, and it's going to be a maybe, because now I'm thinking about it. I feel like that could be knife of the year. So hold on. These 3 are very good cutters, but out of the 3, these 2 are the best cutters. This one just has the thinnest blade stock. It's the sliciest. It's got thicker blade stock than the Mini Evo, or the Mini Evo has thicker blade stock rather. It just cuts better. Now, which cuts best between these 2? The Padre. The Padre does. Because it's easier to get to the tip for utility cutting. And that's the main reason. So the Padre, I think, might be the best cutter on the table here. So let's bring him back. The Padre is looking good. We're still down to these 4. What else? Which one has the best action? That's tough. I feel like it might be the 9. It's the smoothest. It's the snappiest detent. Oh man, that top flipper is so good though. Mini Evo is very smooth. Very, very crisp action, but only one deployment method. Padre, very smooth, very snappy action. But you have to be careful because oftentimes you'll disengage, and if you let this swing down, that point is going to get your thumb. It's going to make you bleed right there. It's already happened to me a couple times. So, while I don't mind, that's got to be a negative point for it somehow, right? In some fashion. Gosh. I really feel like the best action has to go to the 9. I really do. It's the smoothest. It's just the smoothest. That's all there is to it. It's got the best, snappiest detent. It's the... I was going to say it's the most fun to deploy. But man, these others are really fun to deploy too. Oh man. Alright. Crap. I'm going to take off the Mini Evo. Because while I do think it is really incredible, it could be a little better if it had one more means of deployment. If you could get in there to reverse flick off of that, this could be, this could last longer. But I love it. It's close to perfect. It could be better if it had more deployments. So we're taking that off, all right? Oh, God. Now what? I don't even know. Could we have a top 3 of the year? Top 2? Let's do top 2, okay? How about as far as an EDC knife? This Padre, it is not as easy to carry as these two. It's heavier, it's wider. You got a big thing sticking out of your pocket there. It's less carryable than these two, and that is important to me. While I do wear heavy work pants and I like carrying big heavy knives sometimes, I do really appreciate a knife that's versatile and can be a good work knife, but also can be, more lightweight and really easy to carry wearing any kind of pants, for any kind of occasion. Oh, man. I think I'm going to take the Padre out. That hurts me to do. But for all-around EDC, all-around EDC-ness, I think it comes down to these two. And as much as I kind of want it to be the Sweeney, I think it might have to be the 9. I think it might have to be the 9. Let's compare them. They're right around the same weight. The clip is better on the 9. Even though this is a really good clip, this one is better. Carryability, that clip just really makes it. It makes this a better carry knife, the 9. The sliciness goes to the 9. It's a broader blade. It's thinner blade stock. The 9 is a better cutter. Smoothness. The 9's smoother. These both have skiff bearings in them, by the way, so no cheating there. Fit and finish. This is made by Riot. This is a mystery OEM. We do not know what it is. This is made extremely well. The fit and finish is really incredible. Perfectly centered. I mean, it's Riot. Everyone knows. This one has slight, very, very slight, I don't know, what do you call that when there's just like a little movement this way? Like you can feel it. What is that called? What's it called? I'm not sure. It's got a little bit of a movement there. Very, very, extremely slight. Lockup is totally solid when it's open. Rock solid. So I don't even really know if that's an issue, but anyways. Gosh. I want to do a top 2, and these are the top 2. If I had to pick one, I think I would have to pick the 9. Well, I actually do carry... Well, lately I've been carrying the Sweeney more. But like I said, as far as just all-around quality, it being a better knife, it's the 9. And really, it comes down to the sliciness and it being a really good cutter. That's what really makes the 9 win here, I think. The Sweeney is just not as slicey and not as useful of a blade shape. It still is really useful, and don't get me wrong, this is, it feels weird saying, but you guys get what I mean. The 9 just cuts better. So there you go. I think I have to give it to the 9. I really do. Now there's a couple knives that I wish I could have on here. The Null Knives Voodoo, I wish was here. That could be a knife of the year, although I still think the 9 would beat it. especially since I've heard some of them are failing. The Spine Whack, the Voodoos. The Quiet Carry Drift XL is extremely good too. So, I mean, really, Quiet Carry absolutely came out with some really crazy good designs this year. So there you go. That's the one off the top of my head that I wish I had here, or the two. I'm sure there's more, but that's just what I'm thinking right now. So there you go, folks. Let me know what you think down below. Out of these knives, which would you pick for Knife of the Year? Or do you have one that you think should have won, or in your opinion wins? Again, it's all opinion, so this is my opinion. You could have a different one. That's fine. This is just my opinion of what I think is the best Knife of the Year. But I'm curious as to what you think it is. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching. It was kind of a long one, half an hour. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it. Love you guys. See you next time.